The girlies are coming for the Democrats' beloved influencer, and they have receipts. Liberal TikToker Harry Sisson is under fire for allegedly soliciting nudes from a bunch of different women. Now they've all teamed up, John Tucker Must Die style. Sarah Fields blew up social media Tuesday with this tweet saying that allegedly Harry Sisson convinced 11 different women that he had no roster, that he respected women, then proceeded to ask for those explicit photos. Allegedly, here is some of his Snapchat messages to the roster of girls. So I've always thought Snapchat was a childish way of communicating, and Harry Sisson is only 22. So you may be asking, what's the big deal? It's a big deal because he's a hardcore feminist, but obviously doesn't respect women. Here's his tweet from election night. Things aren't adding up. This girl, Hannah, has come forward with alleged messages from Harry. She claims that he calls women lunatics and other degrading names. Buckle up, Harry. The girlies are coming for you. All this is alleged behavior, of course, but don't get caught up in this man's holier-than-thou front. And definitely don't listen to what this 22-year-old has to say about the United States.
Thank you for coming to Politics and Life. This is Jordan. I hope all of my freedom-loving patriots are having a blessed day. So as you've seen, professional Democrat paid propagandist, soy boy, low testosterone Harry Sisson is under fire lately because he, ladies and gentlemen, has been exposed. Sarah Fields on Twitter has recently came across multiple witnesses who have actually been a part of Harry's life, and I guess they hooked up with him, thought they were in relationships with him, and they are now exposing him as the disgusting human being that we already knew he was. We are going to react to his ex and her 9-minute clip exposing him at the end. But first, I want to tell you and show you what two of the other women are coming forward saying.
I've been trying to figure out how I want to word a video regarding this. But I think what I'm going to just say is I've never been the woman that has called out behavior like this. I've never been one of these people. And if you have been, fucking props to you. Because I don't think anybody could comprehend how genuinely terrifying it is to do something like this. Yeah. I really... Send me how you stop having fucking heart palpitations.
Yeah, as we know, the party of women's rights and all for women also have the people who aren't really for women, as it seems to come out. We're going to listen to what a couple of our creators are going to say, and then, as I said, I'm going to show you what Harry and his soy boy, also looks like 18-year-old lawyer, is saying, and then we're going to react to it together. But also, can you imagine if a conservative was exposed for this? They would already be canceled, thrown in the trash, and you would never hear from them again.
So if this was a Republican, they would already be fired, canceled, no platform, reported, taken off of, TikTok, Instagram, and X. There would be an outrage. But because it's Harry Sisson, the left has been really quiet. I mean, even Dean called him out on a live and said that, yeah, he's nuts. Good luck out there, little bro. Verbatim. You want to know why? Because it's been getting leaked that Harry Sisson treats women like garbage. He lies to them, cheats on them, pressures them into sending explicit photos of themselves, and then stops talking to them. And then when they come out about it, he calls them insane and gaslights the fuck out of them. He's not only done this to one woman or two women or three women. There are over 15 women sharing their stories about dating.
One thing I'm going to say is it's kind of hard for me to believe that this is a real thing because Harry is the epitome of a man with no balls. He does not portray any manly features at all. He is a very feminine man. So it's almost like I feel like and a lot of conservatives are saying this, it's like split down the middle. It's hard for me to believe that he's really pulling or dating all of these women because he just gives off the vibes that, no offense, and I love the gay, I have family members that are gay, but he comes off as very flamboyant and gay. Maybe they're trying to push this across, make him look manly, but it's kind of hard to believe that he was leading on this many women. If you just look at him, look how he acts in general, not a man that usually you would think is a player.
Harry Sisson. And they all have called him anywhere along the lines from predatory to a master manipulator to emotionally abusive. Their words, not mine. So come on, Democrats, I want to see you do your thing. You're, women's rights activists. Come on, let's see it. Let's see you go cancel him and yell at him and curse at him and call him horrible things and unfollow him and block him and, call him out on your big platforms, how horrible he is and how much he, hates women. Or you won't, will you? Probably not. Because for Harry or a Democrat, you would hear their side of the story. There's always two sides. Sometimes allegations aren't true, but when it's a Republican or Trump, everyone at their word is solid because it fits what you think. Mind you, everything that's being leaked about Harry Sisson has evidence. I mean, we're talking audio messages from him where his voice is very, very clear on their text messages. The whole audio message from 1 minute and 30 seconds to 4 minutes is him directly speaking. Anyone that watches his videos knows his voice, and you can't miss that voice. To Snapchat screenshots of his face and, screen recording, to iMessage screenshots, to XDM screenshots. Any form of proof you are looking for is there. So I hate to break it to you guys, but usually the most sweet and sincere people on the outside are the ones with the most amount of skeletons in their closet. And usually the loudest activists only place their rule of thumb on people they oppose, not actually everyone. And being for women or just equality for all in general and not treating people poorly, like Harry Sisson saying the night of the election that America failed women tonight. If you're going to sit there and allow someone to have a platform that actively fails women every single day and bullies them and abuses them and manipulates them, you're not actually for women or for fairness. You're for your party.
We already know that's how the Democrats were. I mean, look what happened with Bill Clinton. They shut the ladies up who were speaking out against him. Or how about the one who came out against Biden? Shut her up, and now she's living in Russia because she can't even live in her own country because the left only goes after conservatives. And when it's against their own side, there's crickets. And it's sad because they are so hypocritical on the left, and everything they say the right is, they are literally doing on a daily basis.
We have some major breaking... Wait, I'll let him tell you.
We have some major breaking news. 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 Everybody, breaking news. It's happening right now.
Damn right we do. Let's talk about it. Sarah is censored on X has just broken a story about you, Harry. Apparently, this defender of women's rights and champion of women and feminism is not what it seems. Let's take a look.
I've been following this political influencer for a couple months prior to me DMing him, basically just offering my support. I shared with him that I was a survivor of SA, and if he ever needed a victim's perspective during one of his TikTok live debates, I would be willing to share my story.
I'm going to try to get through this without crying. How manipulative and conniving and overall dangerous this political TikToker is. Talking about him and his disgusting behavior for over a year now. Nobody believed me. Above all, I'm pissed because he is the same fucking guy that's going to end up in the fucking political hierarchy that has all of these allegations but has too much power within to ever
Harry Sisson.
That's exactly where he's headed. I don't care if he takes accountability. I don't care about all that because it's going to be fake, and I can promise you that. And it's going to be gaslighting.
He did inform me that there was no roster, essentially implying I was the only person he was talking to, the only person he was receiving photos from.
But that's not true, was it, Harry? You were receiving photos from a lot more than just that girl. According to my count, 11 that you were soliciting explicit photos from.
If he had flat told us, hey, I am talking to other people.
This is just mind-boggling that this many women even fell for a man like Harry Sisson. I mean, he's such a bum and so embarrassing that he makes all men just look bad. That just go to the woman's side. Sorry, you just make men look so weak. And the stuff he says, the stuff he celebrates, the stuff he promotes is just disgusting. He is zero testosterone soy boy.
We asked, When all like a fucking dozen of us asked, he lied and said he did not have a roster and that he was not talking to anybody.
So much for this champion of women.
Republicans don't want women to control their own bodies.
At least we're not exploiting them in the internet while pretending to be their defenders. I hope those women get peace, and I hope you're held accountable. And you guys should go check out the full story on X. Sarah is censored.
Yeah, go follow Sarah Fields. She's the one that's exposing this. All these women are coming out against them and telling their stories. But this one is 9 minutes. It says Harry Sisson's ex filing is completely exposing him. Let's see what she has to say.
And we were on the Dem High Pass, which was a huge political TikTok account. Kind of established that if we saw each other in person, we'd probably hook up. But our conversations outside of seeing each other in person or whatever were never really like flirty or anything like that. So I was never under any sort of impression that we were exclusive ever. We never were like that. So my story is going to be different than a lot of these girls. Just putting that out there. So up until about maybe the beginning of 2023, I would have considered Harry one of my best friends. And let me know if you see a pattern here. But what really kicked that off was that he was the one recording my rapist when I called him and got him admitting to raping me on audio, okay? Which was great, whatever. And then Harry started drinking. So when Harry started drinking, he started getting a lot more aggressively flirty. I apologize for my hand tremors. I can't control them. But if you want to pause and screenshot those, these are times in which Harry was getting obliterated drunk and calling, FaceTiming, and saying very sexual things to me. I didn't really care. You know, it's whatever. Drunk words, sober thoughts. You get it. And then this is when I noticed kind of a shift in Harry. He started to gain a lot more attention, a lot more of a following. And he created a Discord in which it was a very exclusive Discord. And very strange, creepy people were allowed in the Discord. I was in it for a little bit, but I was like never allowed to talk in it. So that's where Harry meets somebody named Camille. Okay. I was advised not to, by my father, not to pursue an internship or a job with this Camille guy because my dad said he looked sketchy. Harry decided to go ahead and do so. And this is when I started getting messages from a minor, whom I will not say the name, with autism, who is also in the Discord. He was probably around 14 at the time. And he was...
This is hilarious. Famous trans conservative influencer Blair White just posted a picture of Harry Sisson. While I'm doing this recording, I want to read it. And it says, the first person I've ever seen exposed as straight. Because we all know up until now that everyone thought he was gay.
Sending me some concerning things regarding what Camille would send to him. Those are things I cannot show for legal reasons, but very much so did happen. And I contacted his mom, everything. But you know who was working for him? Harry. And I told Harry about everything that Camille was doing. Here's the proof of that. This is a conversation between Camille and the minor in question. Camille texts him, why do they know so many details then? Why do they have screenshots? And in those same texts, you will see him saying he's going to lose a business partner, AKA Harry. Now, Harry would respond with, yeah, that's super messed up. I won't work for him anymore. That's crazy. And then I got this message from the minor saying that Harry still is working for Camille. So I reach out to Harry. And this is the conversation from that little debacle. And then it got to a point wherein I was seeing if I should be contacting the police because this minor happens to be based internationally. He's not in America. And I advise Harry that I'm doing so. And he starts advising me not to do so through FaceTime audio, mind you. But here's the conversation about him advising me not to do so. And if you see with all of the other girls too, he loves calling women lunatics, they're crazy, conspiracy theory, his favorite. Okay, let's continue. Oh, here's a random little tidbit, not really related to what I'm talking about, but I figure I'd share screenshots of Harry with my saved inappropriate photos in the chat. See, I am really sitting here admitting that I did send inappropriate, because it was like a fun little fling. For me, this is like less about the romantic part of anything. I don't really mind that. I don't like that they're saved, but like the whole inappropriate photos thing, not really my main issue. The context of it is though. So hold on. So here's me saying point blank to Harry, what's a conspiracy theory? The grooming part, or me quite literally finding your relationship with Camille and all of this is suspicious. That's a speculation, not a theory. Anyway, and this is after Harry called me about 20 times and me not answering, and him saying, this is truly insane, like, Hannah, you don't know anything about Camille in this entire situation, nor do you know what Chris and I dealt with when it came to Camille. Essentially, like, putting his issues with Camille above the fact that he's literally grooming a minor. Anyway, eventually, however, I was manipulated into thinking that he was no longer working for Camille. Whoops. So then October 7th happens. I don't know if I showed this already, but this is also important in the context of everything. I'm sorry, this is so confusing. Everything is everywhere. Okay. So then Harry calls me saying that he's making some federal complaint against Camille. Okay. And I'm like, period. Right. And so here's that conversation. Essentially, he tells me that 2 other people are in on it. And then I said, okay, we had a little tip pass behind us. We're homies now. He then asked me for nudes, unsent the message. And that's what I was talking about when I said, tried to get me to send him nudes because he pretended that he cared about the predation. So I said, I saw that, you freak. Are you drunk or something? Okay. But I didn't realize that until way later on, because then October 7th happened and we were constantly arguing about that. So here is me trying to call Harry because I was trying to talk to him about, Middle East stuff. He questions. He says he's tired. I say, whatever. He goes, you know what it's a perfect time for, though? Referring to nudes. I said, you're funny. Then he unsent a message, and I said, I saw that, you freak. Anyways, then I had a phone call with the minor. He called me at like 10 p.m. I was like, what the fuck? I answer, and he's asking these really, really strange questions. And I'm like, what the hell? Come to find out, Harry and Camille were working together to try to get me to say something. So if I say anything in the future, I'd lose my credibility. Okay. And here, I know it's small. I was trying to preserve ink. And I know it's probably going to be backwards too. Whatever. I'll post these more straight up next time. That is the fake cease and desist I received soon after for $500,000, accusing me of racism on TikTok because I have anti-Zionist approaches to things, amongst a ton of other insane things, which I will share later on. So I confronted him about it, yada, yada, yada. And if I didn't already have enough proof of him asking me for inappropriate pictures at very inappropriate times, here's more, where I say to him, so true. He wanted me to stop picking an argument with him. Stupid. So true. I'll meet you in the middle. Next time you want inappropriate pictures, just find someone else and leave me alone next time. He said, yeah, that definitely works for me. So there's him admitting that. Anyways, here's also more creepy text regarding inappropriate photos. I don't remember the context of some of these. So now when the creepy texts and threats come in, this is my favorite part. All of these are all screenshots of threatening texts I got. But it doesn't end there. I have an audio. So I got a phone call from a blocked number when I was home in California. My sister recorded this, and this is kind of what happened.
Who? Don't post anything about who?
Camille.
Who's Camille? I was lying.
Maroon.
Oh, Camille Maroon. Or what? Or what?
Or I'll fucking kill you.
There's an example. So when Harry and I kind of went dark, like we stopped talking to each other altogether, it was because he found out that I was still talking to this guy I used to talk to. And he called me, told me to go fuck myself. Was just super fucking pissed that was happening. So maybe he thought I owed something to him, but I didn't. And I didn't think he thought I did. I don't fucking know. Also the end all was the loss of my now regrettable friendship with my old friend Melina, whom I have a screenshot on that. This is her essentially ending the friendship with me because I was posting shit about Harry. So, I mean, who knows? I don't know if any of this made sense. I'm really sorry that all of this is backwards in regards to the screenshots. I will be kind of breaking it down in parts, but this is just kind of the full account. There are definitely things that I missed and screenshots that I did not show because it's just I don't have much time left in this. So there is more to the story. But
that's it of that, guys. Her actually explaining it. Kind of was all over the place, but I just kind of wanted to post what I've been seeing because everyone's been talking about it. That's a Democrat star little soy boy coming into the Democrat political world. That's the type of person who is your everyday liberal voter right there. Insane. Harry Sisson. He is the epitome of that. So this is, I believe, the first video of him responding to all the haters. And let's see what him and his boyfriend Chris have to say.
Give like some cliff notes here again. I guess like we've now made this a thing, but I guess not many people know about it. So okay, here's the deal. I think like I'm gonna give like very blunt cliff notes. There was an individual on Snapchat who lived in the state of Illinois while Harry lived in the state of New York. They started engaging in consensual exchange of explicit explicit things. I think that the parameter for Harry was my understanding of this is
these two just look like straight up dorks. If they were not paid propagandists making a lot of money for pushing propaganda from the Democrat Party, zero of these women would even be turning Harry's way. I mean, just look at these two dorks. And I usually don't talk like that, but the way they speak about others and the way they talk about Trump and Trump supporters, I don't care at this point. They are dorks. Women would never even look their way if they didn't have a little bit of money.
Harry was originally set saying we are like this is for fun. We are not exclusive. If that is not okay with you, that's totally cool with me. I think that like one big thing I consistently talk about and like I debate with people on this all the time is like again just being like very intentional about like what you want. Like I don't think that there's a problem with wanting like to have fun, right? But being clear about wanting to have fun, not leading people on. So being clear, like this is what this is. And through that, I think that this individual then, I guess, leaked the photos and said that Harry got a girlfriend. I don't know. She says that she was led on. That's kind of like the cliff notes. Harry and this individual I've never met in person. And
never faced them.
Never faced them. So that's
or at least spoken on FaceTime, I should say.
Yeah, I think that's like those are the cliff. Yeah, someone said, "Oh, high school stuff." Those are the cliff notes. I think that like
high school stuff.
I think that I think that like again, like I think this is being like blown in pretty intensely out of proportion. But the idea being that like Harry engaged in saying, you know, essentially, she asked, "Are you seeing other people? Are you talking to other people?" And Harry said, "No." Was he actively engaging and talking to other people on texting them or Snapchatting? Yes. Was that a mistake? Yes. You should not have done that. That was a mistake. And I think that like, and again, I think that like in this aspect, and I think like genuinely, like we don't have any ill will toward these people. I think that like, you not like allowing the framing to be, not allowing the framing. I'm sorry. Like we live in a.
You can say whatever you want. I think it is important. No. So somebody says, so yes or no, you cheated. No, because I wasn't like I made abundantly clear with any of these people that there was no exclusivity. And again, I have messages.
Harry was leading X, Y, and Z. Like we both know that they were talking to both of us at the same time. In fact, I was in the same room getting the same images and stuff while we're now claiming that like it's a being led on. I don't want to get into this. But like, this is like the framing here is unbelievably dishonest. It's dishonest. It is. I agree with the idea.
Oh, soy boy's getting triggered. Look at that. Getting a little taste of their own medicine and pushing shit that they don't like when they've been doing that about us for years at this point. I hope people are finally waking up from little testosterone men like Harry Sisson. It's embarrassing that that's the Democrat Party's typical man that they push up on a pedestal for pushing their fake news propagandists. But that's where we live in the year 2025. But let me go know what you guys think. Love you guys. Have a great day. Peace.